The Ragin Cajuns looking for the Sun Belt's fifth Power 5 victory. We preview Week 5 on Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Again, continued thanks for growing the channel. We're almost up to 720 subscribers, so hopefully by, the end of Saturday, it'll be 730, and that'll be a good 130 or so in the month of September. Good way to start the college football season, which, sad to say, after next weekend is half over. This is Week 5. No, slow down. All right, we got a bunch of great ball games this week in the Sun Belt, and we've gone over some of them. We'll pick them all again. Some more featured than others. Also, again, thanks for subscribing. Do it on YouTube. All right. Also, the audio podcasts continue to grow. We'll have another record month this month. That's 3 straight record months. Maybe 4. And don't forget, it's Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Those are the 2 most popular, though you can find it anywhere. Just search Locked On Sunbelt. If you are doing Apple Podcasts, please rate and review. All right, so the big out-of-conference ball game, although there are a couple, is really the Cajuns taking on Minnesota. Now, I thought the Cajuns had a shot at this ball game. All right, Minnesota is also starting a first-year, well, not a first-year quarterback. Played a little bit last year behind Tanner Morgan. And do I dare say his name? I was told how to say his name. Kaliak Manis. All right, Athan Kaliak Manis. Okay, 599 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's not the threat offensively. It is the running attack. Minnesota has an average of 318 pounds across the line of scrimmage, and that is obviously, going to dwarf what the Cajuns have on the defensive line. So the Cajuns are going to have to come up with some kind of plan. Here's the thing, though, the little wrench in the plans for the Golden Gophers, potentially. All right, today, Locked On Sunbelt's Locked On Golden Gophers Kane Robb came on my radio show on 103.3 The GOAT Sports Chat and said that Darius Taylor, who only leads the Big Ten in rushing with 532 yards, 3rd in the nation in those rushing yards, he got banged up at the end of that Northwestern ballgame. Got banged up, and there's been no update as of, I think, Thursday evening. And so we'll see if he's going to play. He actually suggested that it might be somebody who hasn't played yet. So we'll wait and see if I don't know how much it matters. But obviously you'd like to have, the nation's 3rd leading rusher going at it. They're going to try and slow down the game, make it shorter, I think, is what they're going to do. I think Eastern Michigan ran like 45 plays. And a lot of times, you can get 45 pass attempts and 35 rushing attempts, and Eastern Michigan had in the mid-40s. So Minnesota is going to take their time. They're not a tempo team. They're going to try and run it. They're going to try and make you get tired. Here's the thing, though. The Cajuns are a really good rushing team themselves. How they stop the run is going to be an issue. But can the Cajuns, who are now all of a sudden healthy, all right, Jax Harrington back at right guard. You have George Jackson back at right tackle. Quentin Williams, the original starting, at least going into camp, right tackle, is now coming off the bench. So you have some depth on the Cajuns' offensive line. But you got Jacob Cabote, who is really explosive, big back. You have Draylon Washington for the Cajuns. They average, actually, the Cajuns, as much as Darius Taylor is among the nation's leaders individually, the Cajuns are among the nation's leaders as a team. They average 238 yards a ball game on the ground. I understand that's against Northwestern State, UAB, Old Dominion, and Buffalo. I get it. And so obviously the level of competition is going to be stepped up this time around. That doesn't change the fact that those stats are really impressive. We'll see what they do against Minnesota, but I would presume they are going to try to keep on doing the same thing. Zion Chris is actually third on the team in rushing with 186 yards, right? Doesn't he have like an 80-yard touchdown run and like a 56-yard touchdown run, something along those lines. We'll see if Xylon Perry gets back in the lineup. All right, he did not play, at least offensively, last week against Buffalo. He was returning kickoffs, but he had some fumble issues. So we'll see. So this game is probably going to be decided on the ground, but can the Cajuns do anything in the air? Can Zion Chris do a little something in the air to take that pressure off, or at least give Minnesota something to think about? They're not particularly great. They allow 114 yards a game, 115 yards a game on the ground. Cajuns allow 130 yards on the ground. Pass yards allowed, Minnesota gives up 249. That's mostly in the last two ball games against North Carolina and Drake May, which makes sense. But then Northwestern went off. Whatever Minnesota was doing for the first three quarters was working. They were up 31-10. They ended up losing, 38-35 to Northwestern? So, I'm sorry, 37-34 by 3. So, whatever was working to begin with was, and then it wasn't. So we'll see if the Cajuns try and run it, how successful they are with that, and if they can throw the ball. I've thought for a bit now the Cajuns could win this game. I'm picking the Cajuns. I'm going all homer. Minnesota has not covered a spread yet in this ball game or in this season. It's an odd, let's see, is it still 11? It is 11. It opened up at 11 on Monday or Sunday, actually, right? Comes out Sunday. Circa in Vegas does it first. And then it's still on DraftKings is at 11 as well. And then it went up to 12.5 on Monday. And then it went back down to 11. So not knowing anything about this, it seems to me that the reaction was it's a Sunbelt team playing a Big Ten team. So we're going to put money on the Big Ten team. And then people were like, whoa, hold on a second. That seems like a lot. Minnesota's Big Ten, but not Michigan, not Ohio State, not Penn State, probably not even Iowa or Wisconsin. And the Cajuns can run the football. The one bugaboo for the Cajuns is they cannot stub their toes. All right. Don't stub your toes. You can't make the mistakes. You can't fumble a punt. You can't fumble going in your own red zone. You can't make stupid mistakes that'll cost you the game. All right. Also, play calling. We'll keep an eye on play calling. I blame Zion Chris's 2 interceptions on the coaching staff compared to him last week against Buffalo. All right, so I'm taking the Cajuns. I am. I'm going to go all homer. Not only am you going to want to give me 11 points, I'm going to take 11 points, but I'm going to go on FanDuel, actually, on FanDuel and lay down on the money line. All right, so we'll do it on FanDuel on the money line, which is like plus 340, so it's pretty good odds. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll run down some more games. Georgia Southern has sold out Paulson Stadium. They were really working at it. I'm a little bit surprised it doesn't get sold out all the time, but everyone is kind of filling me in on what's been going on, so I appreciate that. And then App State, be careful, all right? But we will go over all of the ball games here in the next 2 segments. But now, let's see where we are. We have to tell you about Nutrafol, which I thoroughly enjoy using, all right? You don't have to choose between better hair growth and your health. Nutrafol provides a whole body health approach for men that promotes healthier hair. No drugs, no compromises, just better hair. Nutrifall is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrifall's hair growth supplements use physician-formulated, natural science-backed ingredients. Their drug-free, patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their health wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair health through whole body wellness. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting root causes of thinning, such as stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. And it works. In a clinical study, 84% of men showed improvement in their hair after 6 months taking Nutrafall's men hair growth supplements. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrifall is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafall.com/men and enter promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafall for healthier hair. Nutrafall.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men, and enter promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code LOCKEDONCollege. All right. I don't have an issue with thinning hair, but I do use the Nutrifall shampoo and the conditioner and thoroughly enjoy both. And if I don't mind saying myself, it was a good hair day today. So I use the shampoo and the conditioner, and I like it. In fact, need some more, feel free. But I do enjoy using the product. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's go through it a little bit quicker. We'll go through all of the ball games, and let's start off with Georgia Southern. Really impressed with Georgia Southern. We mentioned this, throughout the offseason and our predictions, how they kind of let one game kind of affect them last year. They had that big lead against South Alabama. They let it go. They lost to the Cajuns. They wanted no part of that ball game. It was an early week on the road, and they were just not over losing to South Alabama yet. All right. Now, this past 2 weeks ago, they were up 14-7 in the third quarter, and Wisconsin was doing, I believe the official term is bupkis. Wisconsin was doing nothing, but Davis Brin kept on throwing interception after interception after interception after interception. And for good measure, when about to score a touchdown, he fumbled the football. That's 6 turnovers in the 35-14 ball game. All right. Usually if you have 6 turnovers, someone's putting up 50 or 60 points. That's how not good Wisconsin was. But it was certainly enough to get by Georgia Southern. They go out to play Ball State. Understand Ball State may not be on the Sun Belt's level, but they went out there and took care of it. And Davis Brin had a big ball game. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a nice job by him. And now they're hosting Coastal Carolina. It's on the NFL Network. Again, I said it yesterday. I think this may be the last stand for Coastal Carolina. They're heading in the wrong direction. Watching that ball game against Georgia State, it was a mismatch. It wasn't that Georgia State just got by at the end. No, Georgia State dominated that ball game. I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia Southern dominated this ball game. We'll see what Coastal Carolina can do defensively. Haven't seen a whole lot of Georgia Southern. I will say, I will be able to watch it because the Cajuns are early. I got situation watching too many games early for myself, but it'll be nice to be able to watch Saturday evening football with an 11 a.m. kickoff for the Cajuns. So I think now that I think about it, I think I hesitated yesterday. I'm going to take Georgia Southern with the 6.5. All right. Let's go back to James Madison, South Alabama, as we'll run down these quickly. I don't think South Alabama can hang. I just don't. I haven't seen it yet. They did put, I'd say, 4 quarters together, but they really didn't. I mean, defensively, I guess they did. But even they lacked a third quarter offensively against Oklahoma State, trying just to get out of there with a win, which is fine. But it was a lot more was expected with South Alabama. And the line has gone down to 3. So it was 5.5. I'm taking James Madison to beat South Alabama. And instead of South Alabama being a top team in the Sun Belt, they have dropped to 2-3 and will be 0-1 in the Sun Belt. James Madison would be 5-0, 2-0 in the Sun Belt. All right. Arkansas State heading to UMass. We discussed this ball game a little bit. Arkansas State looking to win 3 in a row for the first time since, I think it was 2019. So the year before COVID. And so they haven't won 3 in a row since. They are now looking to do that. They didn't have a great performance against Stony Brook, but it was good enough because they scored touchdowns, which they hadn't before. And they had a heck of a performance against Southern Miss, 44-31. 37 in a ball game that, ended up being a 2-score game in the fourth quarter, and Southern Miss scored late to make it a 1-score ball game. Don't sleep on UMass. You're going up there. I don't think it's going to be that cold or anything just yet. It looks like it's going to be 70 degrees apparently. But don't sleep on it. Let's see if Butch Jones can get a nice win. I know UMass is 1-4, but let's see if they can get a nice win. UMass is actually favored by 2. Let's go Red Wolves. I'm going all in on the Red Wolves. All right. This ball game has me a little scared only because of the line. All right. This one is Marshall 3-0 hosting Old Dominion. It's a 14-point line. That means Old Dominion's not scoring more than 10 probably, and Marshall has to score 28 or so, right? Because it's 28-14 is going to be a problem. Marshall has scored so far 21, 31, 24. Old Dominion did not play well at all against Texas A&M Commerce last week. So they've scored 10, 24, 38, 17, and well, that would be it. That'd be 4. That's the thing. Is Marshall going to shut out Old Dominion? I mean, I think Marshall's going to win the football game. But it very well could be, 24-13. All right? Marshall has not put up these great big numbers just yet to make me feel confident that they are going to, put Old Dominion away. Basically, they would have to hold Old Dominion to like a touchdown, is what I would think. And then you could win 24-7, 28-7. If Marshall was a little bit more consistent putting points up, I'd feel more confident in it. I will take Marshall because I'm going to go with the team I think is going to win it. I think Old Dominion is heading in the wrong direction, and we'll take the Marshall Thundering Herd to stay undefeated and keep up with JMU in the East. All right, let's take one more time out. We got Troy, Georgia State, Texas State, Southern Miss, and App State, ULM still to come. Now it is time to tell you about a little eBay Motors. Yeah. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebay.com/motors. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. All right, ebaymotors.com. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's put a little bow on it. Excuse me, going to cough. Still drinking out of the Bird Dogs Yeti-like tumbler. I am loyal. It's just diet green tea, I swear. All right, let's do the rest of the Sun Belt here. Week 5 preview. You got Georgia State taking on Troy, and wouldn't it be a thing? These are 2 road games. South Alabama's going to JMU. Troy is going to Georgia State. Wouldn't it be a thing if the top 2 teams in the West picked preseason 1-2, were 2-3 overall? Troy would fall to 0-2 in the West, or 0-2 in the Sun Belt, and South Alabama would be 0-1. I'm taking Georgia State. It's -1. I think Darren Granger and company are going to eke one out. I think it's going to be about a 3-point game. It's certainly going to be close. Troy is better than I thought, and not only better than I thought, they have gotten better as the season's gone on. They have figured things out. It's one thing to think, oh, we're great, we're good, let's start the season up. Nope, not so hot. And they couldn't, they had a shot at beating JMU a couple of times and couldn't quite do it. But you hold a team to 16 points in college sports, you really should be able to beat that team, especially at home. So I think Troy has improved. I think Georgia State's got something going on. It's going to be a great football game. Granger versus Watson, Vidal versus Cannon. It's going to be a fantastic football game, but I got Georgia State. All right, it's kind of make a break for Southern Miss. This is a tough spot. Southern Miss needs a win in the worst way. They played a banged-up Tulane team at home. They couldn't do anything offensively. Then they go on the road, and all of a sudden they couldn't do anything defensively against Arkansas State. And now the high-powered Texas State Bobcats are coming into town. And despite getting a win last week against Nevada, G.J. Kinney is not happy at all. They were down 17-0. They gave up a score. They did come back to win it, but they gave up a score late. There is nothing that he is happy about except getting that victory. Let's see if Southern Miss can keep it close. It's a 5.5-point game. I'm taking Texas State, rooting for my guy, Will Hall, but this is a tough spot. All right, TJ Finley has had an excellent season. Cole Wilson is, doing well. Mahdi, 399 yards. I think that was that like 200 of that was last week against Nevada when, again, the Wolfpack would just fumble and fumble and fumble. I mean, they just handed the ball game to Texas State. Texas State was glad to take it. Don't get me wrong, but there's a reason why Nevada has lost 14 straight ball games. All right, to wrap things up, App State, tough spot for App State. Monroe is off. App State's a 13.5-point favorite. All right, App State's the better football team. They lost a doozy last week against Wyoming. They got a pick six. They went in leading 19-7 with 11 minutes left to go, 11 and a half minutes left to go or so in the fourth quarter. Next play after the interception, 75-yard touchdown. Oops. Then they go on one of these outstanding drives, like a 9-minute drive, but they miss a long field goal, and Wyoming goes down and scores a victory. This would be a nice time to have a lovely or a game in lovely Boone, North Carolina to get some home cooking. This is a tough ball game. I'm actually going to pick App State to win it, but I think Monroe covers. It'll be really impressive if App State can get a big win on the road against ULM. 13.5 points is a lot of points on the road. App State's the better football team. I think they pull this one out, but I think the Warhawks do cover. All right, that'll do it for our Week 5 college football preview, Sun Belt preview. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see if we can get a Sunday recap going, maybe even a Saturday recap. Cajuns play early. South Alabama plays early. So maybe we can get something going on mid-afternoon on Saturday or early evening after the post-game, after the Ragin post-game show, which I do help host. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for a great week, a great month. We are getting so close to 1,000, right? May not be Halloween, but it's not going to be too far off. Maybe it'll be Thanksgiving. Again, thanks so much for listening. You have been listening. You have been watching the Locked On Sun Belt, your team every day. I'm Dave Schultz. Enjoy the football, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.